The build of the Lumia 800 looks very similar to the one of the Nokia N9, and I think it is a very interesting build. It feels very heavy and very well made, and I really like how it looks. It also has an interesting curve on the back, however the top and the bottom are flat, whereas the sides are curved. You can see here on the side it has the volume up and down and the power key, but it also has a shutter button, which is very nice. I really like a camera shutter button because then it feels like you are actually using a camera. And you can also see that the Nokia logo is horizontal and it is very small because phones back then were small. It is using micro USB and you might be wondering where the port actually is. Well, it's actually on the top, behind here. It's kind of hard to open, but when you press here it opens. And there you can see it has the micro USB port. And this was at the time where there wasn't USB-C back then. It also has a headphone jack, and back then it was very common to see those, but sadly these days you don't see them that often anymore. It has a 3.7 inch 800 by 480 screen. Of course, when you get closer to the display you can definitely tell that there are pixels, but I think for back then the screen looked very nice. And it also has these touch buttons on the bottom, so you can quickly tap it and then it will go to search. And when you hold the back button it will show you your recent apps. And you can see this phone doesn't have the swipe down for the notifications. You have to go to the settings app. There is a speaker on the bottom, and for unlocking methods you can unlock it with the pin code. One of the nicest things about this phone in my opinion isn't only the design of the phone, but also the software. It feels very smooth, the animations look nice, and you can see that scrolling through the UI looks very smooth. And even though it has a single core Snapdragon S2 processor with only half a gigabyte of RAM, it still feels like a very smooth phone. And I wish there were more phones that had animations that were this nice. Sadly, of course, most things don't work anymore. So as you can see here, the maps won't load, the browser is outdated. And I think that's very disappointing, but it's very obvious for a phone that is from 2011. Sadly, you can't do also that much with it today. Like I said, the internet browser is outdated, so not everything works. And you can see, for example, YouTube doesn't load. And searching doesn't even work. It says that I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, even though I am. You can use it for calling, but keep in mind it only has 3G. The user interface of this thing really reminds me of the Zune. And you can even see that it has the Zune app on here. I still really love how this thing looks. It's just really disappointing to see that Microsoft gave up on Windows Phone, because the user interface still looks very nice in my opinion. And the phones were really fast compared to the specs that they had. The camera app has different options, and here in the settings you can change the contrast but also the saturation. And that is something that you don't see on newer phones these days. And with the shutter button here on the top you can half press to focus and then fully press to take a picture. What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.